Hi, buddy. Good morning. All right, so Ms. Gillier said that you're doing really well with a lot of this. So we're going to go over the things that you struggled with on the first page. So let's just quickly go over definitions, and then I'm going to show you examples. So vertical angles are congruent or equal to each other. Okay, so vertical angles are here, one across from each other. These are vertical angles where two lines intersect and their angles are exactly across from one another and they're equal to each other. Complementary angles are equal to 90 degrees and supplementary angles are equal to 180. So those are our two main angles, complementary and supplementary. One's equal to 90 degrees, which also a right angle is equal to 90. And supplementary 180, which a straight line is equal to 180. So supplementaries go with a straight line for 180. Complementary go with a right angle for 90. A way to help remember that, in the alphabet, C comes before S. So C is essentially smaller than S, right? C before S and 90 before 180. So C goes with 90. S goes with 180 to help you remember supplementary and complementary. The last type of angle you need to know for that front page is an adjacent angle. And they are next to each other and they share an arm. Okay, so here, this angle is next to this angle. They're right next to each other. Angle 1, angle 2, correct? And they share this arm, and that's what makes them adjacent. So one angle correct next to another angle, and they share an arm. That's what makes it adjacent. So I'm going to go through this review with you real quickly. Okay, so number 1 asked us, how are ABE and EBC related? So we're going to start there. ABE, EBC. Okay, ABC all together creates a straight line. So that makes them first supplementary. Remember, we talked about a straight line of 180 is supplementary. And they're also adjacent to each other because they are right next to each other. This angle is next to this angle and they share an arm. So those are both supplementary because of the straight line and adjacent because they're next to each other and share an arm, BE. Okay, so now ABD and EBC, remember that's the ones I talked about look like two lines that intersect, ABD, EBC, and these are just vertical angles right across from each other, and I'll show you that on this paper. Then we move to EBC, CBF, okay? And on that paper, that created a complementary angle, which is 90, and they're adjacent. They're next to each other, and they share an arm, BC. BC makes this angle, and BC makes this angle, so they're adjacent and 90 degree or complementary. And then last is ABD and DBF. ABD, BDF. And the only thing they have in common is being adjacent. Okay? So they're adjacent, sharing arm BD. So ABD and DBF share the arm BD. So they are adjacent. Okay? Very good. All right, and number 2. This is a 90-degree angle, and that's shown to us by the box on the graph. So whenever you see that box, that means that is a 90-degree angle. Okay, right angles are complementary angles, and they are 90 degrees. So if this entire thing has to equal 90 degrees, we are going to say, how do I find this? Well, if this all is 90 degree and I'm given 73, I'm simply going to subtract. 90 minus 73 is equal to X degrees. And 90 minus 73, you'll be able to put that into your calculator, is going to be 17 degrees. So if I then went back to check myself and said, is 73 plus 17 90? It would be, and you would be correct. Okay. Number 3, we're dealing with a straight line. We talked about before, a straight line is equal to 180 degrees, right? So if I have a straight line, that means all of these angles added together need to equal 180 degrees. So I'm going to go back to that same thing, 180 degrees minus what I already know, 85. So 180 minus 85 gives me 95 degrees. 95 plus 85 should equal 180 degrees because it's a straight line and it's supplementary. Number 4, okay, this one's a little trickier. We were only given one. We were given 134 degrees and asked to find X, Y, and Z. Okay, so if this is 134, because I know that vertical angles are congruent, I also know that the angle right across from it is equal to 134. So Z is equal to 134 because it's vertical to the given 134 degrees. Now, if I turn this sideways with this transversal line, I can see that this is a straight line, and a straight line is equal to 180 degrees. So if I say 180 degrees minus the 134 I already know, that gives me 46 degrees because that's a supplementary line. 180 minus 134 gives me 46. So if X is equal to 46, so is Y because they are vertical. And then 134 plus 46 would give you 180, which also completes that straight line or this straight line. Number 5. Okay, it tells you that the angles are vertical. We know that vertical angles are congruent or equal. She will have that on the board for the test. So if you see vertical angles or she tells you something is vertical, that means I am setting them equal to each other because vertical angles are congruent or equal. So we simply said 7x plus 10 equals 11x minus 14 because they are vertical angles. Now, I have to do algebra, buddy. I know you don't really go with the geometry, but you know this, okay? They're on opposite sides of the equal sign, and I have to join my x's. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. I'm left with 10 is equal to 4x minus 14. Now I got to get this 14 to the other side. So I'm going to use opposite operation. Minus 14, so I'm adding 14 to both sides. And I've got 4x equals 24. Okay, and then from there, to get x by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And x equals 6. But that was not my final question. My final question was to find, find the value of x. Okay, so that was your final question. And so x was equal to 6. If I then wanted to know what the angle equaled, I would plug back in 6 for x. And that's what I did here. 7 times 6, I replaced x with 6, is 42, plus 10 is 52 degrees. So those angles were equal to 52 degrees. I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to flip over to the other side in just a second.